Good morning, everybody. Meteorologist Seth Bohnhoff here with a check of your forecast on this Sunday, as well as a look at the week ahead. And it certainly appears things will be a little busy here over the next few days. So let's hop right into that forecast, checking out how today will play out. Things will be a little quiet this morning, maybe some light showers and a couple of thunderstorms possible off to our west as a overnight system moves on through and kind of decays as it moves on in. It's possible we could see a strong storm in that morning round. But more importantly, we're going to see some redevelopment here into the afternoon that will allow for more widespread severe weather. So just kind of a stormy and windy day ahead here with severe storms certainly on the table here. Let's take a look at the most recent Storm Prediction Center outlook. Over the last several updates, this has slowly tugged to the south and east. Now that enhanced risk is kind of just set up east of I-55. Right around there is where we expect storms to really kind of bubble up later today. As they progress to the east, that's where they should strengthen and then later hit their peak. So still a good chunk of the area there under that enhanced risk. But those off to the west may be starting to get just a little bit of extra confidence that maybe things won't be quite so bad at that direction. We're looking at a window of about noon to 7 p.m. today, so a relatively consolidated window, all things considered. And I think even that 7 p.m. Might be a little generous there on the later end of things. This could wrap up sometime early in the evening. Aside from that, though, let's talk about the potential hazards with this system. Mainly watching strong winds and large hail, talking about 70-mile-an-hour gusts up to 2-inch diameter hail. That's about golf ball to tennis ball size. That tornado threat will be present, as with any severe storm setup. However, that's just a little lower compared to the wind and hail threat. We're going to go over all that here in just a moment. If you remember anything from the forecast yesterday, I mentioned how some morning storms off to our west could kind of touch parts of the area and maybe stabilize it. We're going to see that to an extent here as Future Track shows some of those morning storms rolling on through. Again, can't rule out one of these being severe with maybe that quarter-size hail or 60-mile-an-hour gust. That's really not going to be too impactful. That's just kind of the appetizer for later today. What that's going to do, though, is kind of push that boundary farther to the east, where storms will eventually bubble up on and form later on this afternoon. So now we're starting to see those storms generating east of I-55. So places like Springfield, Lincoln, Bloomington, you'll have to be on the lookout here this afternoon, but maybe looking like things are just going to stay off to your east. But then once it hits the I-57 and I-70 region, we could see a few cells originally that congeal into more of a linear storm system here into this afternoon. That'll be the main event. That'll be the thing to watch for, as some widespread severe weather is possible up and down that line. But as mentioned, maybe this is a nice quick-hitting system and it's out of here before we get close to sunset. That would be ideal if we could get things just kind of quickly move along. As mentioned, though, either way, we are going to have some impacts with this system. The tornado risk currently sits at about a 4 out of 10 for those east of I-55, so not the highest concern that we have. However, with some of those cellular storms early on, that's where rotation is easiest, but even in that linear system, you could see some embedded circulations here and there. Greater risk is going to be to our south and east, where a 6 out of 10 is in place. This will be what to pay attention to just a little more, though, because this hail could be decent sized. Again, talking golf ball to tennis ball size hail, especially once those storms fully mature around the I-57 and I-70 region. Same goes for your wind gusts as well. Pretty much the same area, watching for those stronger winds up to 70 miles an hour, potentially just around 60 or 65, though, as they start to move on into the area. Let's quickly talk about the forecast here for the upcoming week. Tonight, we'll see some of those lingering storms, but an overall cloudy night ahead and much cooler tomorrow as that cold front will pass on through. Now, to mention another chance for severe weather here into the middle part of this coming week. Doesn't hardly seem fair, but it unfortunately is the reality that we are facing. And take a look at this one for Wednesday. Already an enhanced risk here about 4 days out. Don't see this all the time, so that certainly means this is a system we need to pay quite a bit of attention to, as this one could ultimately be stronger than the one that we are seeing today. Again, taking things one system at a time, but definitely keeping an eye on how that system on Wednesday could play out and its potential impacts here across central Illinois. One good thing with all these storms is the amount of rainfall we could see, maybe 1.5 to 3 inches over the next 7 days. That's about the only good thing there, because other than that, we're seeing a lot of opportunity here for severe weather. Keep an eye on today first and foremost, but of course, keep your eye down the road a little bit too on Wednesday. You can stay up to date in the forecast at all times on the WCI3 Weather app. This has been your Weather Now update. Stay safe and enjoy your Sunday.